organizers for this opportunity to present our work in this nice meeting. Because I think that people are not very familiar with plasma, I will say a few words briefly about plasma and plasma technologies. So they are used very widely, and especially for environmental purification. Two types of plasma are used: thermal plasma and non-thermal plasma. The thermal plasma is that it is at high pressure, which means atmospheric or a little bit higher. But in the thermal plasma, we have high temperature, while in the non-thermal plasma, the temperature is from room temperature to, it can be above 1000, 2000 degrees, but it is non-thermal. Both types of plasma are used for treatment of solid waste and water and liquid waste, and the non-thermal plasma also for gases. What actually the plasma is, this is ionized gas with approximately equal number of positive and negative charges, and has a collective behavior. And the active plasma components that make it so useful for many purposes is that in addition to the charged particles, we have also very active radicals, excited atoms and molecules, UV and VUV radiation, electromagnetic field, and of course the heating component can be quite noticeable. And when the plasma is used to treat liquids, we have here at the interface between the sample and the plasma, we have many chemical processes producing many active species in this place and also inside the liquid. And these active species can be divided in two groups. They are reactive oxygen and nitrogen species, which are oxidative, and we have in the liquid solvated electrons, which have a reduction effect. Here I have shown only briefly some of the main reactions in the different places, and here we have measured that the reactive OH, NO, N2 are more concentrated in the liquid phase than in the gas. So what we are using here in our experiments are non-thermal plasma. We have different plasma sources, and we have produced operating at different power, and we have produced also, especially in the frame of PROMISCES project, two new plasma sources, especially to see the effect of absence of this interface. In the first case, the plasma is produced above the water surface, and we have all three regions. And in the second case, we have plasma produced directly in the water, and there is no interface between plasma and liquid. The result of all experiments shows that first the plasma modifies the liquid that is treated, changing the pH and the conductivity. Of course, if we are using distilled water, the pH is changed. If we are using tap water, the pH stays the same. But concerning the conductivity, it increased for both distilled and tap water. The hydrogen peroxide production inside the water as secondary reactions depends on the exposure time, the treated volume, and what is interesting is that this hydrogen peroxide is very stable in time after treatment stops. The plasma can be used, and here we are showing the reduction of organics, ammonium, in municipal wastewater. And what is important is here in all these treatments, reactive oxygen and nitrogen species are the important species for this reaction. As you can see, there is an increase of the nitrates concentration just because during the oxidation processes, the ammonia is transformed to nitrates. But going to the PFAS, the situation is quite different. And here is the comparison from another work, not ours, of different plasma methods for PFAS decontamination and other chemical and ozonation methods. And one can see the broad range of the results. The first thing that I would like to say is that it is common in this paper that this reaction is not possible because the reactive species in plasma cannot accelerate such a reaction. And the second important thing is that if we are using argon for plasma production, the power necessary for plasma production is almost twice lower. This is important for the efficiency. But the possible reactions are with the OH radicals and the electrons in the liquid. Well, for the first, the reaction number 2, it is necessary that the OH radicals have energy about 1 eV, and for the second reaction, the electrons need 2 eV of energy. But because of the much higher mass of the OH radicals, it is very difficult to reach 1 eV for this reaction. Here I have presented the results from the electron energy distribution function of our modeling. And what you can see, 2 eV is something above 2 eV, is something that is quite common for the plasma. The problem is that these electrons here are not in the plasma, but they are in the liquid. So we don't know what is the energy of the electrons inside the liquid. But increasing the energy of these electrons in the plasma, we can expect that the energy in the liquid also will increase, and we have this reaction possible. So what we have to do is to increase the power, the electrical power, so that we can have more electrons and with high energy. Here I am just showing the suggested pathway of degradation of PFOA, and looking at all this, we can be sure that we need longer treatment time if we would like to have reduction of all the byproducts that are produced during the treatment. We have used samples which are model solution of PFOA inside the distilled water, and with relatively high concentration. You can see here it is from 2.5 to 10 milligram per liter. And what we have measured after the plasma treatment is the toxicity of this solution. And for this purpose is used Escherichia coli bacteria with fluorescent method from our biology colleagues. What we can see is that we have visible decrease of the toxicity and increase of the living cells, which is also the same when we have landfill leachate with the same addition of PFAS. Why we put additionally PFAS? Unfortunately or fortunately, in our landfill leachate, the concentration of all PFAS is too low to can have such lab experiments. And the result again shows that when we don't have treated but just polluted samples, the living bacteria number is very low, but it strongly increase after the plasma treatment, and which means that the toxicity is really reduced strongly, and it is the results are better when we have high concentration. With these two new plasma sources, we have treated the model water with a mix of 5 PFAS compounds with concentration 2 microgram per liter each, which means 10 for the mix. And what we would like to understand is if the reactive nitrogen and oxygen species can affect the reduction of PFAS in the same time, because we have all the particles, active particles inside the plasma. So when we have pure water without PFAS, we can see that treatment of the surface of the plasma leads to production of higher concentration of H2O2. And this happens also when we have this PFAS contaminated water. And the concentration of NO3 is also a little bit higher. But what we have found after that, by measuring the reduction of the PFAS, is that it is not affected by the high concentration of hydrogen peroxide and reactive oxygen nitrogen species. So these two processes are independent, and it is not a problem that in plasma we have not only electrons but also reactive oxygen and nitrogen species. What is important is that we have better reduction when we have high power, because the experiments here are in 15 and 30 watts, and the longer treatment time gives better reduction. It is important to know that when we have nitrogen, OH, hydrogen peroxide, and so on, in some reactions in this chain, when we go to the shorter PFAS chain compounds, they are also included. So the fact that they exist in the same time in the plasma maybe is even helpful, but not preventing the reaction. As a conclusion, what we can say about the main plasma parameters and experiment parameters that we have to increase, to adjust is the electrical power. It surely have to be increased. The treatment time, it seems that the PFAS concentration, when it is higher, the plasma affected better, and that we can use argon plasma instead of air plasma. Because of this, we have designed 3 new reactors that I hope to be ready, at least one of these, to the end of the month. The general conclusion is that the complex system as plasma is can produce complex effects when we are treating any pollutant liquid with organics and ammonia. The concentration decreases, The plasma has well-known sterilizing